So welcome to the fourth edition of It's All About Watches. And with one of our interviews, I'd like to introduce a very special guest. Please, could you tell us something about yourself?
Yeah, welcome. My name is Matthias Stotz. I'm CEO of the German watch brand Junghans. It's a great history. We are founded in 1861, and next year we are celebrating our 160th anniversary. So I'm with Junghans since 2007, and the last decade was a very special decade. And my background is fourth generation watchmaker, and with all my love and passion, I support the brand and try to develop it worldwide. But now we are focusing on Poland, and welcome to the audience.
Right, thank you very much, Mr. Stotz. So I have a few questions for you. I've got them on my screen here, so I'll be reading them from the screen if you don't mind. My first question, let's start with this year's novelties of the Junghans brand. What's so special about them, and which ones are the most advanced from a watchmaker's point of view?
Okay, so from the watchmaker's point of view, classical watchmaker, it's the Meister S chronoscope, because here we have our traditional Meister faces with the DNA of our brand and the line, and we transferred it to the new sport watch, still keeping our DNA, now 200 meters water protected, and with a lot of sporty elements. But you can still see it's the classical Meister one. From the modern style of watchmaking, the Max Bill Mega Solar, but it's a radio controlled watch, that's the most challenging and demanding watch, because we have a new solar dial and in a domed execution directly under the dial. So the solar cell is not visible. And this watch is able to get a synchronization in a fast way in less than 30 seconds by our app. So this is pure design combined with the most challenging modern watchmaking. And of course, for our design expert, it's the Max Bill Bauhaus. Last year we celebrate the 100th anniversary of Bauhaus, and all the limited models were directly sold out. So we have a following model. And I think these three watches we have to make a closer look on.
Okay, would you like to appoint three of the Junghans watches from the last 10 years that, in your opinion, are the most recognizable Junghans brand watches? Yes. So we would like a new potential customer to be informed about as flagship models of the brand.
So then looking back to the last decade, I think it's especially our Meister chronoscope. When we celebrate 150th anniversary, we make a limitation of 1,500 pieces. This watch was sold out immediately. And in these days, we only try to make a classical design for today. But the success was incredible and brought Junghans again back to a great position worldwide. And perhaps we can show it. Let's have a closer look to this watch. That's the Meister chronoscope, and the special design with the domed dial, the domed glass, the oval pushes, and also the indicators. And it's very good to wear. You can feel the classic and the design value. So this was for the new position of Junghans, really the special model from the anniversary year. Like I mentioned before, last year, Max Bill Bauhaus, Max Bill line is always successful, but a push with the Max Bill Bauhaus, we can also have a closer look to these models. We have the sapphire crystal, we have the hands with red lines, red date, and from the back side, we have the Bauhaus, and of course it's officially released from the Bauhaus, and we have the building, and we have a picture, a clear view through the windows, and can see the movement. So it's always interesting what's behind the walls, and here you can see it visible in a special way. And the third one, of course, is the Form A. Looking at the Form A is a more straight watch, but Junghans did a lot of clear design, German industrial design, and with Form, we find a new key product which carries all the younger design knowledge of Junghans. So these three, for me, are watches which are very important.
Okay, Wonderful, beautiful watches. My next question, if we can move on, who is the customer or the person that's interested in the Junghans brand and its latest models that you would want to see to buy and wear a Junghans watch here in Poland and also globally?
So that's a very special question, and two easy answers. So the most important thing is you must be a watch lover. We put all our love and skills in the details of the watches. And if you touch the watch, if you see it, then you have to feel it. So it's the pure emotion. So you must be a watch lover, or you will became a watch lover after you carrying a Junghans watch. And our customership are very wide. We are starting today because the design of retro watches is very popular. We start very young today, but still having customers in the 60s and 70s, which are familiar with all the traditional watches. So we have a wide spread. And of course, you must be interested a little bit in tradition, in history, in culture. And of course, the quality of the watch compared with the price is very incredible. And the design is world class. So I think we have a wide experience, and the people in Poland are like in Germany. They are interested in arts, in technology, in heritage. So I think nearly everybody can wear a watch.
Okay, thank you. I've got quite a large question here. Maybe I'm going to ask the first part, and I can prompt you with the additional parts if necessary. So the first part of my question is, what time in the history of Junghans would you consider the most important from today's perspective?
Okay, so there are many points. The first thing, of course, is if you found the company must have a good idea, a good plan, and must be successful. The first period was industrialization, and Junghans became the biggest clock producer in the world already in 1903. For me as a watchmaker and the position for Junghans, I look very often on the year 1956, because there Junghans was the largest chronometer producer in Germany and the third largest in the world behind Rolex and Omega. And also in 56, we started the cooperation with Max Bill. So that's a very special decade, the 50s and the 60s. After the wars, Junghans was an industrial, very strong company. But looking back, the first thing for our company was that Junghans was always technology driven. And that's the reason why we are so successful in mechanics, electronic, and today in radio controlled watches, and able to develop our new, so for me, it's the most beautiful movement on watches combined with the radio control technology, the J101.
Okay, I have one final question for you. How would you see the future of Junghans in the next 10 years? And would you like to share some of the plans for the brand globally and here in Poland?
So all our secrets, of course, I'm not allowed to share. But of course, I will share all things, all the wishes the other brands have too. We want to be more successful and to grow in our international markets, especially also in Poland, because I know that we are so familiar with this neighbor market. I'm sure that we have a great future. Why I'm so convinced? Not only technology, all the watch lovers today in the world, they are addicted to classical traditional watches, even if they're driven by mechanical or also by high-tech movements. We have a great future in front of us. Then in the 70s, we had a quartz crisis. If the watches were used only to the single function to show the time, then I think we are out of the game. We do, based on our history, on arts, on our skills, and all the love for the watches, we do something you can feel, you can wear on your wrist, and you feel confident with. I think that's the most important thing. We are strong at these points. We are traditional. And the best thing to understand the brand and why we are so convinced and so strong, please come to us at Schramberg. We have not only the company we can guide in the days out of COVID-19, but we have an open national museum here, which is really a treasure about architecture, Black Forest watchmaking, and the history of Junghans. So we have a strong basis, I'm convinced. You do the best for us, because this festival help all the watches to come together with the customers in these difficult days. And so I'm sure that we have a good future.
All right, well, thank you very much for your time and the information that you've shared with us. We're very happy to have you with us this year at our All About Watches Festival, because although it's the first online virtual watch festival, I'm sure it's not going to be the last, and we're very happy to have guests such as the Junghans brand with us in this first step into the future, whilst still keeping hold of the past and tradition. So thank you very much indeed.
So thank you to you, and let's introduce all the audience to have a closer look at our booth. We put some information inside, some tutorials about the new models, because all these cannot be done in this short interview, but we prepared a lot of you. Jump in and enjoy it and have a good time.